brothers and sisters. I came up here not because I couldn't see you, but I wanted to see you really well. This is a beautiful assembly, especially pleased that so many of the seminarians are here from Sacred Heart. It was during my years at Sacred Heart that I got to know who Dr. King was. The staff of the seminary, on the day of his funeral, left an unforgettable impression in my heart. To see them silently serving us lunch as we watched his funeral on television set up in the refectory. If you look at the image of Martin Luther King on the front of your program, it might strike you, as it does me, what a young man he was. He was only 39 when his life was taken from him. Maybe think of a classmate of mine would be complaining about how difficult it was to finish a term paper. And he'd say, my dear God, when John Keats was my age, he had written such and such a poem. And I can't even finish a term paper. New wine in new wineskins. Martin Luther King Jr. was part of a family of faith. They had a wonderful experience when I was director of vocations. I was headed to Florida for some kind of a meeting, and there was a stopover in Atlanta, a change of lanes, and I had about a 3-hour layover. And so it occurred to me to get a cab and to go to visit the church where Dr. King had been pastoring. His grave was right next door. So I went there, paid respects, and when I got to the church, there was something going on in the church, and the door was closed, so there was an elderly gentleman receiving guests, nobody else around. So I went up to this elderly gentleman and said, excuse me, I'm a Catholic priest from Detroit. I'm on a layover on a flight, and I just wanted to spend a few minutes in prayer. Could I pray in the church? Well, Dr. King's nephew is in there waxing the floor. I said, well, I'll try not to bother him. He said, that'd be fine. So I went into the church, all alone, sat down in the pew, and picked up a hymnal. And as I opened the hymnal, a little piece of paper that was pasted inside the front fell out. And I looked at the hymn, and the hymn said, I heard the voice of Jesus say, come unto me and rest. So I visually, in my memory, went back to the day of Dr. King's funeral, and had a wonderful half hour or so in prayer there, in the place where he had preached. When I went back out to the vestibule, I thanked the gentleman who had let me in, and he said, well, I'm Daddy King. I'm the father of this place. Martin is his son. And he told me about the family that he had in the Detroit area, and a very friendly introduction. And I thought, what a privilege it was to be in Martin's house to meet his father. When I was a deacon preparing for the priesthood, I lived on the east side over Father Trapp's neighborhood, and Deacon Alan McNeely was my director. He introduced me to the writing and the preaching of Dr. King. You could do yourself a favor, and you could go on YouTube and just put Dr. Martin Luther King, and several of his sermons will come up there. And one of the ones I remember reading and listening to, because it was recorded at a church in Cincinnati, was called The Drum Major Instinct. Because you see, Martin had aspirations. He graduated from ministry school and then he went to Harvard. He got his doctorate. And he studied Mahatma Gandhi and other peacemakers. And so he had a deep consciousness of theology. He aspired to be great somehow. He told the story from the scripture of the man who comes knocking on the door at midnight. He knocks and he says, "I have visitors and I have nothing to feed them. Can you give me some bread?" And from within the person said, "It's late at night, my family's all asleep, go away." The man said, "No, I can't do that." Keeps interceding with him. And after dramatizing this a little bit in his sermon, Dr. King said, "Why did this man come to knock on the door at midnight? He certainly wouldn't come knocking if he didn't believe that the man inside had some bread. He came to where what he was looking for was available. So he said, brothers and sisters, when people come knocking at the door of the church, we need to open for them because they sense something we have. He ended with this sermon by saying, brothers and sisters, we need to keep the bread fresh. We need to have available for people what they come looking for. And I thought of all the ways in which people pass in and out of my life, in and out of your life. Frequently, they come because of a deep need they feel. But we make a great mistake if we forget that they're coming because they see we have something. We need to make it available to them. The same Jesus who reconciled us with the Father, the same Jesus who lifted us up when we were fallen, can do that for them. And that's what we bring to them as a message, that salvation, healing, peace is available. And we need to keep that bread, that message, fresh and available. And that's why Pope Francis always says, notice the people on the margins. Notice the people on the periphery who don't show up too often. But every once in a while, you'll see them. Keep the bread fresh for them. In today's world, I'm certainly not the first to observe that we're so pulled apart, we're so divided into camps. And the dialogue across the barriers is too infrequent. Dr. King would have us bridge the gap, as Jesus did, in the most unexpected way. I heard a sermon recently in which the preacher said the word in Hebrew for holy means different. God is different. So when the angels before the heavenly throne sing, holy, 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 they're saying, God, you are different, different, different. You're not the one who wipes people out. You're the one who lifts people up. You're not the one who condemns. You're the one who forgives 70 times, 70 times. This is the Jesus whom Martin knew, whom he'd come to know growing up in a family of faith, living in the home of Daddy King, who raised him to listen to the voice of Jesus. I heard the voice of Jesus say, come unto me and rest. Lay down thy weary head, my child, upon my breast. Martin learned that he could go to Jesus when things weren't going well. He preached, as the scripture says, with authority. people listened to him. And that's why we remember him, because he was such a compelling leader, but he needed others to follow. And the many people who followed him received bread. They too, because he preached with authority and from his heart and with faith, they received nourishment, strength to strengthen others. And so as we remember him on this day of his birth, we remember how much he did in such a short time for our country at a critical moment. I wonder if we understand the importance of simply making available to others the great gifts from God that you and I have received. And if we forget all God has done for us, the knock on the door at the most inconvenient time will remind us of a deep truth that we hold within this vessel of clay, an invaluable treasure, and others can see it. Martin, in his preaching, would frequently mention the words of hymns. He loved hymns. And it's good to think about the hymns that we sing that join us together. Over the last 2 days, I've been thinking about hymns and songs that knit followers of Martin together. And one occurred to me, it's a natural one, it's "We Shall Overcome." I'd like just to sing a few verses of it with you. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my sometimes he brought it up to the present. We are not afraid. We are not afraid. We are not afraid today. We are brothers all. We are brothers all. We are brothers all today. Oh, deep in my we are brothers all today. You see, Martin helped people put into words what they all believed. And when you do that, when you give people hope by stating what is most true in spite of everything against them, it gave them hope. That hope doesn't die when it's the hope in one whose love is eternal. So prepare yourselves, sisters and brothers, for the knocks that come at midnight. And be ready to keep the bread of faith and hope and forgiveness fresh for those who need it. May God bless us all.